Good morning. Can everyone hear me? I just want to say a huge thank you to Sustainable Seas Trust for having the Retrade Project on such a wonderful platform. And thank you for tuning in and listening to our story today. It's a little bit different than the norm, as we are a little bit more of a social project, more so than an academic project. So I hope that it's beneficial for you today and that you learn something new and that you gain some insight into what we're doing in our small corner of Port Elizabeth. Before I launch into what we're on about, I thought it would be a great opportunity just to show everyone a video that we recently had made that follows the life of one of our traders in particular, one of our favorite traders, Krista, and it'll give you a really good idea of what we are on about. So you guys can all join with me to watch this clip.
Mina ngikhulekile moko apha ndifike apha eWoma 1974 ufike kwami eWoma ndisuka efama ndihlala apha njengoba ndihlala apha nje ndiyagula ndine-high blood ne-asthma for 17 years ka-attack, and therefore emveni koko kwafumaniseka into yoba ne-bad attendance, ngongabikho kwam emsebenzini ngeemini ezifanelekileyo. Ndanikwa zonke iimfanelo zam phaa kodwa mandiyeke uphangela. Eyona nto indityisayo mna uba mandilale ndityile apha endlini yile ndikhonsentreyithe kuyo ngale ndawo phaa. Into endiphilisayo apha endlini ndiphila ngalo dlam, ndiphila ngale way mna. Kukho omnye umtshana wam wathi kum, Gusta, kukho icawe phaa endaweni ethile, buqoqele imbombozi nje nento ethile ekaribhoni ntontontoni, bazofumana ikofu okanye iti okanye umngqusho phaa. Ndakhe ndayizenza loo nto mna, ndafumana iingxowane ezimbini ezintathu, ndafumana ingqusho ne-teabag neswekile phaa kulaa cawa. Ndayiqala le nto, heyi mani, ekusokoleni kwam bhetere mna ndiye phaa. Ndaziqokelela into, ndaya phaa kulaa cawa, ndafika phaa ndangenisa izinto, ndafumana iswekile, ndafumana ikofu, kwakuphisa nesonka phaa, ndanikwa nesonka. Indlela yokuphila kwam le yokuya phaa kulaa cawa, kanti nalapha elokishini ezakarini nazo ziyaqeshwa ngabantu for umuntu afuna ulanda ipali, for into ezithile, what and what. Ndiyarisha ngezakari futhi mna ndangayanga into yoba inkukuma elahlwa ngomnye umntu, wena mntu ulihlwempu usenokuthatha into phaa ikutyise. Laa venkile inceda mna nabantu basekuhlaleni.
So I hope that gives everyone a good idea of what we're on about here at the Retrade Project. We have a real heart for helping those in need while teaching them to live sustainably. So I like to tell people that we are a social project with a green heart. But let's start by telling you a little bit more about our project and how we started and what we're on about. Let me just get these slides going here. Okay, so these are just a few things from our early days. We've been going for about 5 years, and we were established in March of 2014. And it was after about a year of laying groundwork for the project to actually take off the ground. But it was really born out of a place where we were serving our community. We were a faith-based organization operating out of a church, and we were giving away about 30 food parcels a week. And it was just a really entitled practice, I came to realize as an individual. And we just found that we really needed to restore dignity to both the giver and the receiver in these situations. So I was literally walking down the street one day when I thought, if there was only something that people could give us in return for what we're giving them, to restore balance to both parties, anything, no matter how small it could be, would be beneficial to restore dignity to each other. And I was literally kicking a plastic bottle down the street, and I just thought, maybe that's the answer. And I eventually came across a wonderful project in Jeffreys Bay that was running a bartering program, and still are. They're doing a fantastic job there with the Rotary Club. And I went and had a visit, and I was just totally inspired. I'm a transplanted American to South African shores, and I've always been very interested in environmental issues and recycling, and it just felt like all of these things were actually starting to come together. But I didn't want to just educate children or vulnerable women. I wanted to educate our whole community at large and include all the age groups that make up our society. So we realized that we had a need to restore dignity and alleviate basic human needs, and to create environmental awareness and education and care. And we needed a currency, something that was easily accessible to everyone, and this seemed to be waste. So this really culminated in our vision to see the upliftment of people and the environment in which they live. So it's really twofold. So you can see that top right picture was our very, very first recycling drop-off point. It was far too small, as we soon learned after our first day, and we only grew from there. So we realized that we had to combine our social and environmental responsibilities, and we were starting to ask ourselves the question, could bartering actually be a sustainable practice? And we wanted to combine our objectives of social and environmental responsibility together. So the Retrade project was born. And we quickly had to make a new recycling depot site. As you can see there on the top left-hand corner, our boxes quickly moved to a more sheltered space out of the PE wind. And we were amazed. We were totally amazed at how many people responded so well. I slowly started converting my 30 individuals into traders, and it was interesting to see who came back, and with so much waste, and they were just so keen and eager to learn and to trade and to barter with us. So you can see that bottom right-hand corner. We were just totally unprepared for the amount of recycling that came in. So this slowly developed into our mission and purpose, and that was to deliver a value for value concept, which means you give something to get something, to promote dignity, responsibility, and work ethic, to empower people with hand up rather than enabling with hand out, to reach across cultural and socioeconomic boundaries with goodwill, and to provide a means for work for those who need it, all the while creating awareness about our environmental crisis, educating in eco-sustainability and green initiatives, and impacting our waste statistics and lessening our landfills. These are all very important values to us at the Retrade Project. Just a few statistics for you to see, which I thought was interesting to add for South Africa. These are kind regards of Stats SA, but they surmise that only 10% of our waste is actually recycled in South Africa, of which you can see our province is the second lowest province in the country, which I find really devastating because I think that we have the most beautiful province in our country. So it's really sad to see that we are so down on the national average. And this is posing a real problem because we are seriously running out of waste space, and we really need to increase this in the years to come if we're going to have a healthy world for our children and our grandchildren to live in. And they're saying that as little as 5.2% of households actually recycle waste at the moment. And if you look a bit deeper, you can see that they actually break it down according to ages, and our millennial age group is actually the least interested in recycling, which is a bit of a problem for me, as I'm in that 25 to 35-year-old age category. And I just think this is a call for us as South Africans to do better and to be better and to care about where our waste is going and what our world will look like. So you can get more information from Stats SA about that. And then just to tell you a little bit about our life, the life of our traders that we interact with. We interact with individuals and families of all ages, races, and life circumstances. So we pick up a general trend in the poverty cycle, and that is that it usually starts with poor education, which we all know turns into a lack of skill, which turns into a lack of job opportunities. It creates unemployment, poor nutrition, and an inability to meet their basic human needs. And it just turns into a very sad cycle. As you could see in Kusta's video, poor health actually has played such a dire role in his life, which was completely outside of his ability to change. So we're finding people in this circle all the time in South Africa. As we know, our unemployment rates are some of the highest in the world. So we're here to tell you that bartering is actually still alive and very, very well. And it has created such an amazing opportunity for people that wouldn't have an opportunity otherwise. So we're trying to provide this value for value system through an exchange of recyclable goods for basic essentials. So we mainly deal in food, toiletries, very good secondhand clothing, and blankets. And we are finding that this is restoring dignity to traders and volunteers alike. And it's also educating people on both ends of the spectrum. So it's you can see there at the bottom, our values: worth and dignity, responsibility, work ethic, workplace skills, and saving. And it's just been amazing to see. I think one of the highlights of my 5 years was watching some of my very first traders come into the trading store and just have complete freedom to purchase their goods and not to have something that they didn't actually need in the beginning. So as you can see, this lady in this image is taking away a full parcel of food for her family that she brought waste in for. So it's a pretty amazing picture. Our bartering system model is very, very simple, and this is how it works. We try and keep it as basic as possible. So we work primarily with 5 elements of recyclables. We work with PET bottles, cardboard, white paper, mixed paper, which is your magazines and newspapers, and tins. Mainly because these are the easiest things for traders to carry. As you saw, Kusta's enormous cart in that video, some of them come up with very inventive ways of transporting their waste, and others don't have quite those means. But we are also working on trying to create opportunities for them to transport their waste to us as well. So we encourage people and individuals to collect their waste and then bring it to be retraded. So you can see that we value about 1 bag per 10 points. We've just found that a big full clean bag of recycling is the best way, as scales can often be manipulated. So we train our traders on the ground about recyclables, what they are, what they look like, that they must be clean, what exactly can be recycled and what can't be, and they're actually brilliant at doing those things. So they bring their recycling in, and we have volunteers that assist them in awarding points, and then they can purchase things in the shop in exchange for those points. Then our waste company comes and collects all of our recyclable materials, and all of our rebates collected by our waste management company are pumped back into our store. So you can see it's a little bit of a circular model, and this helps us to be sustainable as well. Not completely, as there isn't that much money in recycling as it be at the moment, but every little bit helps, and it helps us keep our overheads as low as possible. So this is the trading store where everything goes down, and it runs on volunteers and community participation. And these amazing faces that you're looking at are really the heartbeat behind what we're doing. And it's just amazing to see community members from all walks of life join together to help others and educate others. So it's primarily run by a store manager who's assisted by volunteers. They tally the points for the traders. They also assist with community members who want to drop off recycling on a Friday morning when we're operational. They do on-site education. We have lots of school children visit us, different people groups, church groups, work groups come to learn and see what we're doing. It's primarily staffed by charitable donations, our recycling rebate obviously, and then we rely really heavily on corporate donors as well, who run food drives and other projects for us. So this is where it all happens. And yeah, we're really grateful to our volunteer team, who are absolutely amazing. Another key component in running a project like this is waste management partnerships. It's taken us a while to form a really reliable one, which has been key for us. But yeah, we've established that. It was one of our big challenges in the beginning, and we've established good pickup and collection schedules and rules and standards for sorting. And this is where education becomes really vital between recycling companies, small companies such as ourselves, and our community members. And in my personal opinion, this is a huge need in our metro, actually, because as far as I know, there are only about 3 or 4 recycling companies to date that are trying to manage our metro. So it's a big gap in the market, actually. So just to tell you a little bit about our growth and expansion over the last 5 years. We've come a very long way from those 4 little bins that we had in the early days. The top right picture is our new depot, which was built last year in 2018. And we just realized we need more space so that we can have more traders and have more recycling that doesn't enter our landfills. So we were really excited to partner with Kevin Kimwele from Indalo World and his really amazing team that he's training up. And they made this beautiful temporary structure for us. It has 2 sliding doors that holds all of our waste and keeps it dry and protected from the elements and from others. And it's just been a great asset to us as a project. And the traders have also just really enjoyed the new space as well. We've also made some amazing partnerships and collaborations over the last few years, and it's just been amazing to see how people are so keen to get involved. The picture on the left was our Nelson Mandela Day this year with Nedbank. And it was just amazing to see how corporates are slowly catching on to both social and environmental issues and wanting to get literally their hands dirty because they did a beach cleanup that day. And you can see in the back behind the tent, they did an amazing food drive and even brought recycling from home. So we love, love, love collaborations like that. It's just so special, and to just be on the ground and have people see what's really going on with our beaches and with waste and with our project. So those have been fantastic. And then the picture below is a very well-stocked trade store from a huge corporate food drive from one of our partners. Doesn't always look like that, but that's the dream. And yeah, it's just been wonderful. So we've just seen the trade store increase. We've seen our volunteer base just broaden, and just the education around all of these different issues that actually go hand in hand, because we actually know that for people to have a good life, they have to have a clean home. So those are just some of the highlights that we've experienced in the last few years. And then you guys might be interested to see what our impact has been. So I put just a few things together, and I always tell my volunteers that it may seem small, but small drops make up the ocean. So it's actually all of us working together to do our part and do our little bits. So no matter how small it is. So I never get discouraged at small numbers. I think that small numbers are good numbers. So these are just some of our outputs from 2019 year to date. We have had a total of 31 trading days. We've serviced about 281 traders. We've sorted and recycled 3,305 bags, which have been saved from landfill, and we average about 106 bags a week. And we have about 13 volunteers that run on a part-time basis, which is really just so amazing for us. These are just our numbers of traders that we've had throughout the year. So we kind of average about 14 traders a week. But these numbers obviously wax and wane according to the weather, according to payday, according to whether our traders find casual work in between. So it does fluctuate quite a lot, as you can see, but we're always excited, no matter whether we have 4 or 16 traders come in a day. But I think we have, on average, we have about 40 traders on our roll. So it does actually vary according to what's happening in their lives. This is a graph from some of our waste, say from landfill from 2019. So our year to date is 11.6 tons, and that indicates that we are recycling about 1.1 ton per month, which is quite good for so few traders. Which is quite exciting. As you can see, K4 is cardboard, so that's our highest recyclable, followed by PET mixed plastics. So those are obviously our lightest and most easily transferable ones as well. But it's quite exciting to see graphs like this and to see them growing as well. So one of our greatest needs is community participation. It's you. So we are really run by the community at large, and community members assist us through most of our needs. So through recycling and food donations, which we spoke about a bit, through our volunteerism, through being active in their businesses, through corporate social responsibility and promoting that in their workplaces for us. We've got quite a few corporate recycling partners throughout the city, and by that we mean people that recycle through their workplaces and then donate their rebate checks to us in cash, which is just fabulous. Through awareness campaigns, and education opportunities. We just feel like there's something for everyone, no matter what age, no matter what walk of life you're in. There is actually a way to be involved. And then obviously through skills and services, we've just had different people come on board and offer such amazing things: web design and graphics and social media and cart building and all sorts of really wonderful things that have aided us as we've gone along. So there is a space for everyone, and if you have something that you think you could add to our project, we would love to hear from you. These are some innovative new programs that are coming in 2020. They've started now at the end of the year, but 2020 is we're looking forward to. The one is a really great education initiative started by my co-director, and it is a education based program for primarily preschool children called Bash the Trash. Very exciting. It teaches kids how to make recycled instruments. So lots of cool DIYs and an awesome jingle to go with it that's downloadable onto people's cell phones. And we want to specifically cater for our creche teachers throughout South Africa that could easily access that on their cell phones, and start educating children from a young age about reduce, reuse, recycle. So that's exciting, exciting for 2020, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And then SAB have also helped us in launching an initiative for multi-site drop-offs and depots throughout Port Elizabeth. So we would like to start advertising and promoting people having multi-sites at their offices at specific drop-off points so that we can up those numbers of our PE metropole of who is recycling and where. So we want to make recycling more accessible for others, just as we've made it accessible for our traders. So that's an exciting program coming to you soon. And then some challenges experienced, because obviously it hasn't always been easy. So I thought I would just share with you guys some challenges that we have had. One of the probably the saddest moments, I think, for Retrade in the past 5 years was that if you remember that very first image, we actually had a public depot located in Wilmer Heights where we're based, and we had to unfortunately close that depot, I think in about year 3, 4, just due to complete lack of education. So we were getting more waste, household waste, than we were getting recyclable materials, and the community at large were just very uneducated about what recycling actually is. So we had to make the very sad decision to close that and only keep our depot open for traders and for people who could come on a Friday where we could actually assist them on the ground. So that was a sad moment for us, to really see the lack of education in our very well educated community. So our traders are actually very brilliant at what recycling is and how to use it and how not to use it. So it's quite amazing to see the difference. Then we've also struggled a bit with management and leadership of our trade store versus volunteerism. So we've always really believed in volunteerism and having people involved and community participation, but that obviously has its own set of challenges when you need someone to take leadership of something. But it's just something we've decided to work with, and it's also kept our operation costs low. So it's been a great asset to us, and it's something worth working through. Then obviously stocking of our store has its challenging moments as well. But amazingly, we've never been out of stock. So we just trust in the community at large, and yeah, it's been amazing to see. But we are always trying to come up with innovative new ideas for keeping our store shelves well stocked. Then obviously, as I mentioned in the beginning, community education is key. Recyclables versus non-recyclables in South Africa is is a big need, and there's lots of variations as well, worldwide and nationally. So it's a big area of education that needs to happen for the young and the old alike. There are actually no distinguishing markers for that one. Then we experienced a few concerns with our neighbors for waste and hygiene. Obviously, waste doesn't look pretty. So we're in a very upper class neighborhood, and it was very, very challenging in the beginning. We had to really work on making our waste area look great, and then obviously people have hygiene concerns about recyclables that aren't clean and waste that isn't recyclable, which are valid concerns. So we always try our very best to keep those concerns in front of us and to be a blessing to our community. We don't want to be a hindrance to them. We want them to enjoy this project and support it, and not be against it. So that's been a big one for us. And then maybe a surprising challenge would be actually other charities that are in our areas that actually hinder our progress, because they're actually not empowering people. They're still enabling people through handouts. So we'll often have traders that won't quite catch the vision of what we're on about, because they can still go to an NPO that is giving something for free and they don't really have to work for. So it's a bit of a catch-22, because we need both in our societies. We need mercy, and we need empowerment. So it's something that we have to work on in our sector specifically, but we know that this can only get better as we educate ourselves and realize what the issues at hand actually are. And then obviously I spoke about our logistical issues with waste removal companies in Port Elizabeth. I didn't have any idea what I was getting myself into when I first started the project, to know that waste removal is a huge, huge logistical job. So that is something that I don't think anyone should be naive about in the future. But it is something that you can learn and something you can overcome. So that being said, some of our goals for the future. In 2020, we want to double our traders, our waste, and our volunteers. That's our heart for 2020. We are really, really in need of a new trading and educational space. So we're really excited about that. We've partnered again with Kevin Kimwele and his team from Indalo World, and we're really excited to move into a new green space in 2020. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's going to be really, really exciting. We can't say too much on a social platform, but we are very excited for that. So keep your eyes open. Then our big dream is to have mobile satellite stores that would be able to drive in and drive out of locations where we know our traders reside. And we would love to reopen our public depot. That is one of the dreams of our hearts, so that the community at large could actually have a space to bring their recyclables. And we would love continued city participation. We know that working together is the answer. And we need everyone to be on board together for this. So for any of the academics out there who would like to know some areas of research that we have discovered, these are just a few topics that came off the top of my head through my hands-on experience with recycling and bartering. So if you would be interested in any of these, I think they would be great topics, but you're welcome to contact me as well to send you this list. But there are obviously so many different avenues for research in waste removal, so it's actually quite exciting. Then I have a very handy little document on how to start a recycling program or buyback center if you're so inclined. I've basically just put my 5 years experience into a page, which would probably take you about a year to organize. But yeah, if you have a heart for that and you would also love to just get your hands dirty and help those around you and educate your community, please contact me. I'd love to email you this document and make it available for you. So let me know if you can do that. You can email the retradeproject@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to send that to you. But we've tried to put our experience down for you as well to make it practical. And then how to support. We obviously love having people volunteer at our store, or offering their time in any other way, their skills, their knowledge, however you could see yourself volunteering. We have people from all walks of life, and we love having people. So we'd love to have you volunteer. You can contribute in other ways, food, clothing drives, by bringing your recycling, getting your business recycling, or your church or your school, and donating your rebate toward our cause. And then obviously spreading the word. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as raising awareness and doing a beach cleanup. And yeah, we just love creativity. So whatever creative ideas you can come up with, we are not shy to join you. So that's a great way. And then the little image on the left is also just our trade store essentials. If you'd like to run a food drive for us, I can also email that to you, and you can also get it off of our website as a PDF. And then there are just some useful links and resources. Obviously, you can visit our website. We've got all the information there. The recycling forum's a great one. Petco, the environmental department for some stats. There's a recent podcast my co-director did, and just some reading as well. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell. And I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast this morning. And thank you so much for having me. We have really just been so grateful for this platform, as I said earlier. So thanks once again.
Thanks, Maria. That was really interesting. If anyone has any questions, please can you type them in the chat window, and then we'll read them out for the recording. In the meantime, I just wanted to check, Maria, did you say that you're open once a week?
Yes, so we're open on a Friday from 9 to 11.
And I was also just wondering, do you have a plan or like a specific thing that you guys do if recyclables are brought in and they aren't like washed or cleaned? Is there kind of a process that you go through, or is it just the volunteers at Retrade just physically cleaning the items?
Yeah, so our volunteers physically sit on the ground with our traders or with community members that come in, and we try and do hands-on education as it comes in. So if a bag of unsorted recycling would come in, they would literally take the bag apart and show the individual, this is what can be and this is what can't be. And we have a tap nearby, and gloves and sanitizer on hand, and we physically sit and help people physically see how recyclables are sorted.
Okay, thanks. And I see we have some comments in the chat window. Belinda says, thanks a lot, useful information. I didn't hear where you are situated.
Oh, yes. So we are at 22 Newcomb Avenue, Walmer Heights, and it's directly behind Builder's Warehouse.
Corrine wants to know where the public can bring donations.
So they can bring it to the Retrade Project on a Friday morning while our volunteers are there, if it's recycling. If it is food or clothing or blankets, they can drop it off at Fountain Vineyard Christian Church anytime during the week, between the hours of 8 and 2, and they can leave it with the church office there, and they'll make sure that it gets through to us.
Okay, there's a message from Jessica saying, loved hearing the journey. Thank you for sharing. And there's a question from Jonathan saying, is there a depot at any of the Nelson Mandela University campuses as student food security is low? And also a message from him saying thank you for the session. Keep up the good work.
We actually do have the dietetics department on board, so I know that they have a small collection spot, and our waste management company comes around to collect from them, I think every other week. So he could probably partner with them.
Okay, thanks. And I was wondering if you could expand on the logistical issues that you said you had with the waste removal. Was it organizing the different collection of all the different recyclables, or what happened there?
It was mostly logistical for waste companies. I think because the load is so large, they struggle to actually commit to us to collecting. So that was probably our biggest problem, was actually just getting them to collect. And then, obviously their educating us was also a bit here and there, so we didn't always know what they expected from us. So they wouldn't always take waste away. So then you're actually paying to have someone take that waste to landfill if it's not what the recycling company needed. So I think it's many different factors in South Africa logistically. We know that it's not always smooth sailing, so it just takes a bit of time and effort for those companies to actually invest in education and to invest in really being committed to smaller projects such as ourselves.
Thanks, Maria. If anyone else has any questions, I think they can they can contact you via Facebook, or they can email webinars@SSC Africa, and we'll be happy to pass those along. I see we have one other question here from Arushan. Very inspiring talk. May I ask, what happens after collection? Who handles your waste?
So we have a private recycling company that collect our waste, and it gets baled and transported to either Johannesburg or Cape Town, and then exported out of the country. As far as I know, there are only 2 companies in Port Elizabeth that actually reuse the waste and remake it into a new product. So there are a few things, such as the bottle cap lids and the bread tags that get made into planks. But mostly all of our other recyclables in South Africa are actually being exported to other countries.
We have 2 more questions. Which materials are exported, and who buys the material?
So as far as the recyclable materials go, I think our biggest exporter is China. So they rebuy the recyclable materials from South Africa. And then, as I said, there are a few local companies that are remaking products, but it's also a huge kind of gap in the market as far as recyclable goes. And it's something that actually, for recycling to be sustainable, actually needs to happen, that we have more production in our own country. So I hope that answers the question.
I would like to know, SA has the best recycling rates, and there's supposedly a China ban.
Yes, so I'm not sure entirely how that ban has been going. I know that they did put sanctions on the rest of the world, as they've had such a huge influx. So it definitely does affect our recycling rebates, because as soon as China closed the doors to how much recyclables they'll buy, our rates drastically drop. So that's also a factor in our sustainability, is it's actually dependent on other countries. So it's quite interesting.
And there's a comment from Belinda saying that PET recycling in South Africa is better than US and Europe at 63%, and SA is not dependent on other countries. Is that specifically for PET then, Maria? Is it the other materials that maybe get exported?
Yes, exactly. So our PET, we do have a very good recycling rate with our PET. I think mostly thanks to Petco, who have a really amazing campaign. And as I said, there are a few companies locally that are reusing and remaking, so that's obviously hugely helpful. But we are still largely dependent on exportation, unfortunately.
Okay, Maria. As I said earlier, I think if anyone has any questions, they can either contact Retrade through the website or their Facebook page, or they can email webinars at SST Africa. Thanks so much, everyone, and thanks, Maria.
Thanks so much for having me. Really enjoyed it.